So the training that I'm going to give you today is, I had the privilege, because I went on the trip, and this is something I'll say to all directors. The best part about being on the trip, besides the awesome vacation, is the connections that you make and what those connections lead you to. And one of the connections this year led me to a really good friend of mine, Jacqueline Schnautz, her last name is. I know Mike knows her really well. And she called me up one day and was like, hey, I have a ticket to the Sales Girls Summit. And do you want to go with me? I'm like, I'll go. So I flew to Georgia and went to the Sales Girls Summit, and it was sales professionals from all over the country. And it was such a good training, and I realized that while we know a lot about selling and sales, there's a lot we don't know. And what it really did for me is how to transfer that skill to others, because we don't necessarily have the words or pictures to describe what it is we do. Do you ever feel like you make all these sales ideas and things in your unit, and nobody in your unit can replicate it the way that you do it, and you think, oh, it must be my years of experience or my mad good looks or whatever, and no, it's not any of that. And so this training gave me the ability to teach higher level selling to my leaders and other people in my unit. So sorry, Kate and Anna didn't heard parts of this, but it's all good. So here are some things I want to start off with about our business and sales. So the first thing is everything, write down everything we do is sales. In fact, I sat in my office when I was writing this training trying to think of something that isn't sales. Sales is sales, booking is sales, recruiting is sales, getting people to events is sales, getting people on the meetings is sales, getting new consultants excited to get going, sales. Even labeling our dang products is sales. Like, we're doing it with the intention of selling to people. So that's the first thing. Everything we do is sales, and so this is the thing that we must master. The second thing is, all sales is selling a belief. So one question to always be asking yourself is, what belief am I selling here in this situation? All sales is selling a belief, so what belief am I selling here? Number 3, this is not revolutionary. We know this in Mary Kay. In order to sell, you must also be sold. Okay, we know that one. Number 4, we also know, people don't do what they're told, they do what they're sold. So again, when we sell beliefs, what are the beliefs and ideas that you're selling on the front end? People don't do what they're told, they do what they're sold. Okay, number 5 and 6 are two that, after learning this, like, these are two areas that we don't necessarily utilize as much. And number 5 is actually our superpower. Persuasion is the superpower of sales. Okay? Now, I want to define persuasion, because there's already some of you in the room that are like, uncomfortable with this, right? It is not talking people into things. It is not being pushy. It is not convincing. In fact, do you know that the root word definition of convincing is to defeat your opponent? Okay, that is not what we're trying to do. And so if you break down the word persuade, the P-E-R, the first 3 letters, means through to completion, and swayed means advise, to advise. So in fact, persuasion is to advise people through to completion, right? Not convince. I hate convincing, it's the grossest energy, right? Do you guys feel that way? I feel that way. So when we persuade, we are bringing someone through to completion. And one thing I'll get into later is that one of the biggest mistakes that, after learning this and just observing how we do things, is that we think educating is persuading. Right? We educate people with the products, we educate them, we do Mrs. Cab about the opportunity, but educating is not persuading. Educating is not selling. It's a part of the sales process, but it's not selling. So persuading is its very own superpower. Okay, and then the 6th one, some of you are not going to like me for this one, but I promise you get used to it. I want you to start identifying yourself as a salesperson. I want you to turn to the person next to you right now and say, I'm a sales girl.
I'm a sales girl. You're a sales girl.
Yeah, how many of you feel good saying that? Anybody? Who felt good saying that? Like 2 people. Okay, this is a problem. Here's one. And I'll get into it as we go. So based on that, there are 2 things that I have made a decision not to no longer say. You get to choose if you will continue to say them or not. But I want you to hear me out. So the first thing I'm no longer saying is, I'm looking for women who are not the sales type. Okay, I get what we're trying to do here, but I think we're actually hurting ourselves. It's pretty rare that someone identifies themselves as a salesperson. And so there's really no such thing as a salesperson, right? Nobody says, I'm a salesperson. You guys had a hard time even like turning to each other and saying it. And because the only time, do you know the only time we actually hear about salespeople is when they're bad? She was a pushy salesperson. He was a pushy car salesman, right? So it's only in reference to people who sell who are bad reputation. We don't hear about good salespeople. Do you know why? You know what they're called? She's such a good listener. She knows what I need before I need it. She's so good at gathering people. She is so good at what she does that people don't even realize they're being sold to. Oh, she's just got so much charisma. That's what good salespeople are called. And so we don't recognize that. And so friends, send me all the people that you don't want that are salespeople, because isn't it the best when you have a new consultant who comes into your unit and she effortlessly gets 10 to her kickoff party or her kickoff Zoom and lines up 5 pros to sharing calls and it was really easy? She's a sales girl. Now, at parties, here's how you can overcome it, because I get what we're trying to do by saying we look for people who aren't the sales type. We're trying to overcome the objection of, I'm not the sales type. This actually happened last week. I did a party, and the girl booked it 4 days ahead of time, so not a long time ahead of time, and she ended up having 8 friends in her party room at her apartment. I sold over $600, had a great, great prospects, and I was chatting with her at the end, just one-on-one, and she said, well, I couldn't do this because I'm not good at sales. I'm not a salesperson. And you know what I did? I just looked at her like this and said, oh, really? Is that how you so effortlessly got 8 people here with 4 days notice? Yeah. She literally smiled at me, giggled, and said, fair point. And then we moved on. That's all it took. You just got to point out all the ways that they are, in fact, a salesperson. And just by having her friends there makes her a sales girl, right? We just gotta overcome that in a different way. The other thing that I'm not saying anymore is that the product sells itself. Again, I get what we're doing here. We're trying to save our consultants from a lifetime of studying product fact sheets and just get out there and do the damn thing, right? Because they're like, I can't sell until I know every fact about every product. But the problem is that our product doesn't sell itself. It doesn't have legs and go to someone's house and end up in her bathroom, right? Our product is dead. It comes alive through us. And I think that's our superpower, is that we bring it alive. And I think it's so much more empowering to think of it that way. So when a consultant is paralyzed about not selling because she says she needs to know everything about every product, I just say, you know what? Our products are simple to sell, and people are going to buy them as a result of your enthusiasm about them. But again, that product is going to come alive through us. Okay, we're gonna have some art time. Who likes pictures? Oh, this is good fun. I thought we had some visuals today. It's always good. So I want to introduce you to 2 really big concepts. If you can't see this, I'm not going to do a ton on here, but at least you'll get the gist. So the first concept is called, for persuasion and selling, it's called the bridge of belief. And I talked briefly, 3 minutes about this on some Moving On Up call that I think Sue was on. Okay, so this is the bridge of belief. And I want you to think of a time in your life when you experienced something truly life-changing. And for a lot of us, it maybe is our Mary Kay business, and you wanted to share it with people. Okay, so we're on the left here. This is us. We're the sales girl. We're the consultant, right? It's us. Okay, and then the person that you're selling to, or that you want to, talk about this experience, life-changing experience with, is over here. Now, typically what we do, right, is we stand over here, and I call this, we megaphone people, right? oh my gosh, I love Mary Kay, join my team. Oh my gosh, like buy my product, it's so great. Oh my gosh, I'm only 180,000 repair sets away from hitting my goal. Like you've heard it. You guys, I've done it too, so like I'm picking on myself here, okay? And then what happens is we get frustrated because we can see her like she's here, but she's not moving. And then sometimes when she's not moving, we do it even louder, like even more posts, even more like buy my product thing, whatever. You're laughing because we do this, you know. Okay. So step one is to remember that when we experience something truly life-changing, she doesn't get it. She doesn't get what this is like. And I get why we get frustrated, because we get what this is like and she does not. And so we're just like, come on, like if you just, you guys, it is frustrating. It's like when you meet a prospect and you can think of 100,000 ways this business would benefit her and she's hung up on $10. And you are like, come on. What is your problem, right? I want you to write this down. Passion, draw a little heart. Passion is impatient. Passion is impatient. Sales is a process, it is not an event. And what can happen is when we get so impatient that we don't understand why she isn't moving in our direction, and yet, oh, by the way, there's art. Okay. Okay, so we're so close, we see her, she's not moving. We think this is the fast way. Friends, the fast way is the long way around. Okay, we think this is the fast way, and we try to take shortcuts. And the way we try to shorten the sales process is by offering discounts. $10 starter kits, more of your time, prizes. This is when we prize, so this can also be us and this is our consultants, right? The bridge applies to all the people that we work with. More prizes to get them to do things. And here's what happened. So if you've ever recruited a whole bunch of people during a promotion like this, shortcut, right? I'm not bagging on the $10 starter kit, it's amazing. Okay, just know that this is why a lot of people tend to fall off, is because we took the shortcut, they take one little leap into the water and they go, holy moly, this is way more work than I thought it was gonna be. I'm overwhelmed because we took, you know, it was just a shorter process. And they don't stick because you created a buyer, not a believer.
What was that?
They don't stick because you created a buyer, not a believer. The bridge isn't a one-time thing. It's the bridge of belief, not the bridge of buying. It is the bridge of belief. Again, earlier I said all sales are selling a belief. What are the beliefs you're selling? So it's not a one-time thing. So instead of a buying process, it is a continue to believe process. And what's so fulfilling about that is that you get to actually see their transformation happen. And when people believe something, they want to do something. So if you want to up what your new consultants are doing, they've got to believe in whatever the belief is you're selling about the opportunity, right? So when they believe something, they want to do something. So persuasion is the process of guiding them over this belief bridge. So how do we get them on the bridge? And so instead of thinking it like, I just need to get her over here, it's a lot more freeing to think, I just need to get her one step on the bridge, right? I think we think of it all as like one thing, but like, what can I do, you know, to take steps and get her over the bridge? So I'm going to give you some ideas. So get them on the bridge. Idea number one. Sell the value of what we offer. One of the concepts I'm teaching my unit is that we need to start earning the customer, earning the team member, earning the unit member. We've gotten to an era where we think, oh, well, I offered her a pampering session and gift card. They should just want to get together with me. Duh. Or that because we're blasting our goals all over Facebook, people should want to help us complete that goal. Or because she joined your team, that she should just work with you because you're awesome and you know stuff, right? But what is true is that when we create value and intrigue, they want to get together with us. They want to be the #1 consultant in her unit. So here's some ideas, just, I mean, we could take any example, whether it's recruiting, booking, whatever, but I'm gonna talk about coaching, because coaching is also selling. Everything we do is selling. So I have a really high hold rate. I have an 80 to 90% hold rate. My coaching is not great. I send 1 email and 2 texts, and that's it. I have an 80 to 90% hold rate, and it's because I intentionally, anytime she reaches out to me, I reach out to her, I'm creating value and intrigue. So it might look something like this. I'm excited to teach you everything I know. Foundation matching is my superpower. You're gonna leave knowing some of the secrets to having glowing skin. Oh my gosh, girl, can't wait to meet up with you. I know based on your responses, you aren't super comfortable with makeup, but I'll be there to pick colors and help you look your best. Versus I'm just gonna come pamper you. And I wanna make an example here. It is the week of seminar. You are training on stage, friend, like the big stage. And you know how close they get. I mean, they get like real close to your face. And lo and behold, something comes up that week, and you have 2 appointments booked that week to like get ready for seminar. You have a hair appointment, because girl, you gotta cover the grays or the roots or whatever you got going on. And you have a massage appointment. And something happens, and you can only pick 1 appointment. Reminder, you're gonna be on the big stage. How many of you are gonna pick the massage appointment over the hair appointment?
No.
Okay, 1 person. I like you. Okay. 1 person in this whole room is gonna pick the massage appointment. So again, I'm not saying pampering is wrong, but women see pampering as optional versus I need to learn what this woman is showing me because that's necessary. Like I need to look good. I need to figure out my wedding makeup, whatever. So what is your expertise? I've noticed some of us, okay, this month is my 20-year anniversary. Thank you. I've noticed that some of us who've been in longer are hesitant to say how long we've been with the company. Girl, I am blasting that on everything. My little dates picture says 20 years experience in the beauty industry. I want people to know that I know what I'm talking about, right? So brag it up, sister, whatever you got, whatever your expertise is. Okay, the second thing to get them on the bridge. So even just by being an expert in what you do, that can be like 1 notch on the bridge, right? The second thing is find the why behind their payoff. The why behind their payoff. How do you find what their payoff is? It's actually really easy. You just ask them. I'm going to give you some examples, so stay with me. But again, passion is impatient. We skip this step because we think we know what their payoff is. Here's a great example on the customer level. You guys might have a customer who says, I'd really like to get rid of my acne. How many of you have had a customer like this? Like, oh, I wish I didn't have acne. Okay, lots of us have those. We don't ask her. We just assume that it's because she wants clear skin. So again, we megaphone at her. Oh my gosh, Clear Room, it's so amazing. Oh my gosh, you need our triple mask. Oh my gosh, you need to come to our next clear skin event. Versus, okay, ask her why. Why is having clear skin important to her? Right? So that might look like this. Karen, tell me what's most important to you about having clear skin. You can word it a different way. That's just how I word it. This is actually a real life example for me. I actually asked someone, I'm like, okay, you want clear skin? Why? She goes, oh my gosh, every year my family goes on this trip to Florida and I want to have clear skin. You have no idea how great it would be to be at the beach looking great without any foundation on. So Karen's payoff isn't just clear skin. It's looking good at the beach without makeup on it. Do you see how that's just like such a different message that we can use? I would argue that just asking why and listening is a notch on the bridge. Again, good salespeople are labeled as, she so gets me. She knows what I need before I even need it. So this is what I said to her. This is the difference between megaphoning and really honing in on it, right? So Karen, I've been doing this 20 years. I helped a lot of people get the clear skin that you're looking for the beach. In fact, if I had a couple options that I think would work really great for you at differing price points, would you be open to me sharing those with you? The odds of Karen saying no, 0. And then it's just fun. Then I just get to present her with the 2 options that I believe are gonna help her, and I'm gonna work with her. Again, persuasion is guiding her through the process. I'm not just gonna sell her the products, then the customer service comes in where it's like, how are they working for you? We're gonna work together and do that. So I've just created a belief that not only does Mary Kay have the products to help her, but that I'm gonna guide her through that process. People don't just want information, they want a transformation. They aren't investing in Mary Kay's products or opportunities, they invest in themselves through our products and opportunities. They're not investing in the product, they're investing in themselves through the product. Another example, this is a team building example. So I was helping my ops friend Amanda with some interviews, and I always love working with Amanda. We have the funniest conversations. She had a woman who wanted to join for the community aspect. And so, Amanda did what we all do, and I've done. She megaphoned all the reasons. Oh my gosh, we have so many fun events. Oh my gosh, you love our team. Oh my gosh, we do these fun things, right? And so Amanda called me, and I annoyed the heck out of her as I do, because I asked her, but why? Why is community important to her? Why does this matter? And Amanda's the best student. She went back and asked her. And you know what the lady said? She said, because growing up, I was surrounded by family the entire time, like just tons of family, and now I'm not. I just really miss that family feel. You see how a family feel is a totally different, like we can hone in on that way better than just like, I want community. Now Amanda can go back to her and say, hey, I'd love to share with you all the ways that Mary Kay has been like my second family, and that we have that family feel. It's just different. Let's talk about getting people to events. People are always asking how I have so many people at events. Again, we do the same thing as directors to our consultants. We megaphone our consultants. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have the most fun girlfriend time ever. You're gonna learn so much. You're gonna see all the products. We do that, right? And it is important to educate them about the event. I'll get into that later. But what is the belief that you sell about events? It better be one that makes all women, no matter of their status or how much they're selling in your units, get on that bridge. So I heard Lisa has a great one. She doesn't even know it. See, now you're gonna have the words to describe you're awesome, okay? So like one belief that I hear Lisa sell is that events change lives. That is a belief that women of any status in our company can grab onto. Events change lives. Mine is, this is how I say it to people. I actually say this in my meetings. It doesn't matter what you're doing in your business. If you're a personal user, you're doing a lot, events change who you are as a woman. Because it is impossible to be in a room with this many confident people and not be changed when you leave. And because you're changed, everything changes. So events change who you are as a woman. Again, women want a transformation, not just education. And here's what's great, you guys. So now it's really easy for me because I have created believers of the belief. And when you have believers of the belief, they transfer that belief to everyone in their unit. Now it's like this massive FOMO because I've got believers of the belief talking about how events change who you are as a woman. And some of them are my offspring, which is why Anna got, a whole bunch of people here. Yeah, 5 people, and some of them drove from New York. Because we have believers of the belief, right? When we're selling directorship to our people, don't just offer the position, offer a future. And that really starts with talking bigger about the opportunity. One of the things I started saying at my parties, you can go from where you're at to a pink Cadillac sales director and have your income and freedom transformed in the next year if you apply yourself to the business. Now, I think some of you are like, Emily, making claims, don't do it, don't make that. We got so tired, so weary of making claims that we just like, a little extra money. It's just a little extra money. Just come in for like everything we're talking is non-made. You know how I know that that's not a claim? They have to apply themselves to the business. I'm not saying sit at home and you go where you're at to pink Cadillac sales director. Jackie Engel did it. We have proof. So why are we talking small? So I literally say that at my purge. You can go from where you're at to Pink Cadillac Sales Director and have your income and freedom transform if you apply yourself to the business. And I said this, I did a thing with Julie. I think we don't say that because we're worried about scaring people. You're scaring someone either way. You're either scaring, you say that, you're going to scare the small thinkers, the narrow-minded types. That's who you're currently scaring. You're scaring off the women who think big right now because you're talking about extra money. You're scaring the big ones, the ones that are like, oh, I want a transformation. This isn't for me. It's just a little something. Wow. Yeah. Okay, concept number 2. We love the bridge. Concept number 2 is that there are 2 roads. Okay, so there's 2 roads like this. Like a road and a road. Okay, so this one is, my writing's bad, so good. This is the education road, and this one is the persuasion road. Okay, and the, this road is, okay, think of, my husband and I have this really bad thing where when we're driving around, we get to a road that just got paved with asphalt. We'll say, get the rollerblades, because it's so smooth. Okay, so your education road, it's smooth like butter. You use it all the time. This one, on the other hand, your persuasion road has like potholes and like, there's a tree growing up, and like it's not even half of it isn't even paved because we're afraid to use it out of our fear of being pushy, salesy, all the things that we think about in terms of that. But the problem is, this one is the payoff and emotional road. This is where you really get paid. And this is where unit members and customers want to say about you, I want to be her number 1 customer. I want to be her number 1 unit member, is when we use this road. So one of the biggest mistakes that I think we make, myself included, is that we think educating is selling. So examples of this. We think Mrs. Cab is selling. It's not. Mrs. Cab is educating them about the 6 reasons why women start Mary Kay, but that's not persuading, it's not selling them on it. It's educating them. Product knowledge. The fact sheet for fall retreat with the schedule, that's all educating. It's not selling them on anything. So the other way you know if you're using mostly the education road is that people love your content so much, but it's not moving them in a direction. They're not actually buying from you. They're just like, oh, your content's awesome. But you're like, great, buy something for me, right? People don't act on facts, they act on emotions. I think, isn't it like they decide emotionally, but then they justify it logically? Yeah, so the education road gives them what they think they need, not what they actually need. This actually makes us put out content that makes people believe they don't need us. Like we're teaching to the point that like my gal with acne thinks she can figure this out on her own without me. And if they don't need us, we're not, like they, yeah. We fooled them into that because we didn't guide them to the transformation. So let's use team building as an example. When I meet with people after an appointment and I collect the sales and booking and it's time to talk about what they put on the interest scale, my number 1 goal is not to just find her payoff, but to find the why behind it. So I just keep it really simple and I say, hey, Sue, I see you were a 6 on the interest scale, tell me about that. And then I shush. You were an 8 on the interest scale, tell me about that. You were a 2 on the interest scale, tell me about that. Now, I gotta tell you this, because you can find their payoff if you're just paying attention. This is what they'll do. I call it, you gotta find the zing. I don't know, I just made that up. I think it's from a kid's movie where the guy zings, the Adam Sandler. Yeah, Hotel Transylvania, that's what. I'm like, I never show it up. So this is what it's like. Okay, so Sue, you were a 6 on the interest scale, tell me about that. This is what you guys know this. Yeah, I don't know, like money would be great and flexibility sounds nice. but I really like to travel. You know, like their body language even changes. I call that the zing. Like that's the thing they really want. It's not, you know, they usually rattle off 2 or 3 things first, or like, yeah, flexibility, community would be really good. But I've always wondered if I could do something like this. Like that is their payoff. Not the first 2, they usually just sort of rattle off what they think is going to be great. So some of it is just us being observant of their body language and when those things change. So here's an example. This is from last week. I asked a girl this, and that was her answer. You know, use some extra money and flexibility is always good, but I've always wondered if I would be good at something like this. And she, you know, always wondered. You know, she's been asked by other companies. So all I did was, tell me more about what you mean. Because it doesn't, I think we get in our heads that like we have to ask the right question. You just gotta be a little bit nosy and it's not a bad thing. She said back, I'm such a people person and every time I hear about things like this, I think I could do really well. And so then I just asked her, again, when you're looking for a transformation, what would change for you if you were really good at something like this? And then she said, I'd finally be self-sufficient relying on no one else for the first time in my life. That's the why behind it. Right? Her payoff is like, I want to be good at something like this. The why behind it is I want to be self-sufficient relying on no one else for the first time in my life. We had a conversation about how she could move quickly, right? Big conversation. I talk big to people. What that looks like. Now, I didn't tell you this. Okay, so I was using this road to find the why behind her payoff. Now she says, let's talk about how we can move you quickly. That's this road. Now I'm gonna have to educate her on how she can move quickly. And this is a big old juicy game of Mario Kart. Okay, so you might be in the education road, Mrs. Cab. Then you're in the individual consultation, finding the why behind her payoff. Then she has some questions, you're back over here. Then, do you see how this is like connected? But we stop here and here because we get kind of murky over here and get scared of what that means. So when I asked her, and so after I educated her on how she can move quickly and what that looks like, I said to her, if you're ready to start heading in that direction of that self-sufficiency and just like what that could do for you, the pride, knowing I would be guiding you, could we get you started today? And she's like, yeah. She pulled out her phone, signed on the spot. The roads are Mario Kart, and what we offer is the conduit for the transformation. So it's just really getting them to understand that our business transforms. Mrs. Cab is educating. Playing the seminar promo video is educating. It's not persuading. Okay, I already said that. Okay, so if you have consultants saying to you, I'm not doing marketing at the parties, or I am doing, they are doing the marketing at the parties, but they aren't recruiting. How many of you have that? Just me? Okay, like they're doing the Mrs. Cab, but they're not recruiting it, and you're like, okay. She's just educating. This is why this was so helpful for me. I'm like, oh, I can work with this. Like this makes sense to me. Like I can work with this. And she doesn't have the skill of asking good questions, and so she's megaphoning at people about a perceived payoff, but not their actual ones. How do they get better? We do a fair amount of role-playing in our event, and people get really uncomfortable. I put them on the spot, and I'm like, I'm the prospect, you're the person. Good old-fashioned role-playing. It works, you guys. Do a lot of role-playing with your people. And again, it's easy to revert back because this road isn't used or paved. This is not a comfort zone for most of us. It's taken me a lot. I've been working with this training for a while now, and I still have to think about it. You also have to work through the belief that asking people questions is pushy or nosy. Because I got that from my consultants, and I was like, I didn't even think about that. And honestly, the questions are just revolving around what about that is important to you, whatever that is. What is important to you about that? It doesn't have to be, what's your bra size or how much do you weigh? It's just, why is that important to you, right? So people lighten up, you guys, too, because no one's probably asked them before. I also think consultants get scared to team builder have these conversations because it leads to objections, and they don't know how to overcome them. So maybe a brain thought for you, I haven't taught overcoming objections in over 10 years. Because, okay, so this is fun. Focus is like gravity. So hers is always going to be pointed downward into this water, looking at her own reflection. And what's staring back at her is all her like limiting beliefs about why she's going to do this, or her objections and whatnot. So as you're guiding people through this process and people are looking down at the water, it's our job to take our certainty. This is why to sell, you must also be sold. You have to have 100% certainty in this opportunity, and your job is to stand next to her and point to her focus forward. Instead of, because if you start overcoming objections, you're looking down in the water with her. And the same things are staring up at you too. Now there's concerns, and you know, again, with the education road, you might have to educate her about some things. But if you find yourself looking down in the water with her, up, so I learned this, up is the emotion that guides them to desire. So when I'm in that objection spiral, you know, I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't know anything about makeup. All I have to do to shift her is say something like this: Crystal, I'm hearing all the reasons why this might not work. Well, what does excite you about this? How would this benefit you in your situation right now? How could this add value to your family? And suddenly we're looking back up again at possibilities. Because here's what happens: if you overcome, I don't have money, you're like, oh, glad I did that flashcard back when I was at Solomon. I knew exactly what to say. Well, now magically she doesn't have time. You're like, what the heck? You just said it was money. So then you overcome time. Well, now magically the husband's not anymore. And you overcome that. Well, now magically she's worried about the makeup. I mean, you will never. You can't, and your consultants can't do that. Your consultants can do this. How does this excite you? What would add value in your situation right now? So how do we keep their thoughts continually focused upward? Instead of believing them about their doubts, we can acknowledge them. I hear what you're saying. That's all you have to say. I hear what you're saying. Pause. But point them upward. But I want to know, how would this benefit you in your situation right now? I've actually been doing that for a long time, even prior to learning this, but this taught me, oh, this is how I describe why I do that to my unit. Again, that's why this training was so valuable for me. And this is like the super Cliff Notes version. I sat there 3 days with stuff. And the way that we do that well, keeping them pointed upward, and guys, this could be your unit member. You know, the one who's always like daily dippies, calling you, what's up? This could be your customer. The way that we keep them focused upward is through our energy. High energy equals high wealth. Wealth does not follow a low energy source. It takes a lot of energy. So, I mean, someone else brilliant in here could teach a whole class on protecting your energy. So what that means is that it is our passion that is what keeps them pointed upward. It's contagious, but I think that's also where we're at in this business environment right now, is that many of us feel passion depleted. When is the last time you just felt really excited and really passionate about something in your business? Maybe you just earned a Cadillac and you're like, girl, I got this, I'm there. But I know there's a lot of people that aren't there. And so we get to create, one of the ways that we can really create a powerful looking up emotion is through anticipation. I didn't think about this before, but anticipation is one of the most powerful emotions. You know how I know this? Santa Claus. Okay. Remember being a kid and you like couldn't sleep and you get these little like adrenaline spikes like a week before? How many of you, I actually want to know this because I've done it. How many of you peeked at a present? Don't mind. Okay, yeah, I totally was a present peeker. I don't think my mom ever knew. She probably was.
Present peeker.
I'm a present peeker. Because, so anticipation is one of the most powerful emotions. And the way we get to do that is through the what ifs. What if you became a Cadillac sales rep? What if this completely transformed your income? What if this completely transformed your Confidence. Again, women are looking for a transformation, not just information. And I'll just close with this, just to kind of tie it all together. It's about an awareness of what we're doing and the beliefs we're selling. Sometimes even with bookings, we give up so easily out of fear of being a salesperson. I really shifted that this year, right? So even like with a booking, you may have someone here who's like, yeah, no, my wedding's not for 9 months, so I probably wouldn't do it now. Okay, what can I do to get her a notch on the bridge? It might look like, I don't know, like, totally get it. I hear her concern. I hear what you're saying. Just an FYI, you might want to look really good for everything wedding, like your honeymoon, your showers, your parties. And that's typically why I like to work with brides ahead of time. So if those are things you're interested in looking really good in, I have 20 years of beauty experience. I'd love to teach you everything I know so you can look great for all things wedding. Now, she might still say no, but I've gotten bookings just pursuing it, just try to pursue it one step further. I really shifted this year too and turned selling into a verb. I might have gotten pulled over. Kate was going the same speed as me, but I was in the back, just for the record. And I remember sitting there thinking, I'm gonna sales girl my way out of this. I just told the truth, honestly, that's all I did. He gave me a warning, so that was good. So you guys, start training yourself and your consultants that persuasion is the superpower, which really is the key to unlocking that next level wealth, not just educating. Maybe you've never had that thought. Like Mrs. Cab is not actually recruiting. It's informing them about recruiting. We cannot educate our way to a national area, those of us who want to be nationals, right? We have to have that passion. We have to speak that persuasion into people and the beliefs that we're selling, the direction that we're going. So what is your belief about that you're selling about your future national degree? I know there's a lot of us in the room that want to debut before Lisa and Sue retire. So, yeah, I'm out of time, and that's what I have for you guys. So thanks.